Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Ijoma here, and in today's video we're going to learn how to make this 6 pieces blouse or top with a two gathered skirt. The skirt is just net, gathered net, and the top is a 6 pieces blouse. Okay, it's a princess that. Now I used Ankara for my top. You can use any fabric of your choice. In the main picture they used Mikado fabric, but I used Ankara. You'll be surprised that I did not make this dress for anybody. I made it for the sake of this tutorial. I have my doll face, my Ankara, and my net. And I will start with my skirt first of all. So before I cut my skirt, I will cut out my band. The waist of the person that I'm making this skirt for is 30 inches. I am using 30 inches for the waist. And the first thing that I will do is to cut out a band. So the band will be 2.5 inches wide. I am marking 2.5 inches on fold, and the length will be 34 inches. That is 30 plus 2 inches on both ends of the band for zipper allowance. That is 34 inches. So I will cut out 34 inches for the band. Then I will cut out the net and gather it on this band. So the band is the first procedure when you are making this particular skirt. Now I'll go ahead and cut out the band, my 2.5-inch band. After cutting out that band, I will keep it aside and cut my net. Now for the net, we are going to cut as long as possible. For the full length of that net, I want to make it 28 inches. Then this is the doll face that I'll put inside. So the doll face will stop at 24 inches. The full length of the doll face will be 24 inches, while the full length of the net itself will be 28 inches. The net will be longer than the doll face. So I have about 2.5 yards of doll face here, and I've used this doll face before, so I'll go ahead and measure it to make sure that I have enough to do the gathers. I have 2.5 yards. Then you can see the full length, it is at 24 inches, so I had to cut it off from 24. If you have been following me very well, you will know that I have used this particular net and doll face for a tutorial before, but I am reusing it. Thank God it's useful again. Now I'll reduce this doll face because I don't want the gathers to be bulky. I don't want my gathers to be bulky. I have just 2 yards right now, so I'll gather these 2 yards around the waist of that skirt. Now this is the net, and like I told you guys, I want my net to be 28 inches long. Like the length of my skirt will be a total of 28 inches. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'll fold my net and I'll take out 2 inches for the band and measure out 28 inches, and I folded this net 4 times. So for this net, I folded it 4 times. I have 240 inches on this particular one. I folded it 240 inches altogether, like very long. And later I also got another 2 yards and added to it. So that is around 300 inches of net. Like, it is very long. You should buy about 6 yards of net if you want your skirt to be very, very gathered, or you can buy 4 yards and divide it into 2, and it will give you a longer length. Okay, like if you buy 4 yards by 60, you will divide it into 30 inches, 30 inches, and it will give you a very long length. So that is what I did. Now we are done with the cutting of the skirt. Back to the paper. Now I am going to mark my straight lines. I've labeled my lines: chest line, bust point, half length, and full length. Now for the neckline, it is an asymmetric neckline, and I'll make it just 2.5 for the width right now. Then later I will remark the neckline, but for now I made it 2.5 by 2, just 2.5 by 2, because I will still style my asymmetric neckline. Okay, now after doing that, I am going to mark my armhole. Then after marking this armhole, I will get my underbust because it is a padded 6 pieces blouse. I'll place my tape from the top. My bust point is 10, my chest line is 8, and my underbust is 13 inches. So I mark 13 inches for my underbust, and I'll mark a straight line there. Now after marking this underbust line, I'll go ahead and get my nipple to nipple line. My nipple to nipple is 8 inches divided by 2, that is 4. This is underbust. I labeled it. Now after marking that 4 inches line, I will take the 4 inches straight down to the full length and straight up to the bust point. And if you check very well, they used princess darts for the bustier of this blouse. Like, they used a princess dart for this blouse. Now I have found the midpoint of my armhole, and I will connect from my bust point to my armhole, the normal princess dart. Then from there I will come down by 2 inches, and from that 2 inches I will connect back to the bust point. Also, I'm taking my armhole dart, and also I will also extend that place by extra 2 and curve it back to the chest line. Now I will shade that particular place because I will be cutting it off. Now at the under bust, I will take out 1/2 inch from the under bust and 2 inches on the other side. So this 1/2 inch, I will connect it back to the bust point. The 2 inches, I will connect it to the bust point. You can see I'm connecting the 2 inches to the bust point. I'll also connect the 1/2 inch to the bust point. Now from this 1/2 inch, I'll mark a straight line to the full length, and from the 2 inches that I marked to, I'll connect to the full length. Now we are done, and I'll also shade this particular place so that you will know that we are cutting it out. I'm done cutting. I'm done marking my armhole dart, and I'm done marking my under bust dart. What we are going to do is to take our body measurement. Now the bust measurement is 38 divided by 4. My waist measurement is 30, that is 7.5, plus 2.5 that I took out for the dart, that would be 10 inches. Full length, the hip is 42 plus 2.5 that I took out for the dart. So 42 divided by 4 is 10.5 plus 2.5, that is 13. I marked 13. Now I'll connect from my bust to my half length, and from my half length to the full length. After cutting this out, I am going to take my bust dart. If you are a tailor, you should know that front half length and back half length are not the same. My front half length is 17 inches, but my back half length is 16 inches. So I will add a bust dart so that the two of them can be equal at the side. Now my front half length is 17 inches. I'm going to add 1 inch side dart, 1 inch side dart, so that when I close that side dart, it will meet up with the length I have at the back. Now I'm cutting the neckline, the shoulder, and I'll also cut off the center dart. After cutting out the center dart, I will mark my bust dart. Now I am done cutting out that dart, and I will come down by 1 inch from my bust point, and that will be my side dart. I will connect it to the bust points, and I'll also shade it. Anywhere I shade, just know that I am cutting it out. Okay, now I will cut off that dart on paper, and I will close it on paper. I'll cut it off on paper, and I will close it on paper. So now after closing it, I'll also go ahead and slant the side of this paper. I don't want the side to be too sharp or pointy. I will come out by 2 inches from the full length, and I will slant the side of that. So this particular 2 inches that I came up by, I'll also repeat the same thing at the back bodice. I hope we understand. Now we are done with the front. Next is to cut out our back. I'll mark out my zip allowance. I'll mark my chest line. My chest line is 8 inches. My back half length is 16 inches. My back half length is 16 inches. But the front, I used 17 inches. If you measure yourself, you realize that your front half length and the back are not equal. So you always measure up with your side darts. I'll mark my shoulder, my chest line, my half length, and the full length. So the full length of the top was 27 inches. The front is 27, the back will be 26, because our front and our back lengths are not the same. Now I am done marking my neckline. For the neckline, I used 1.5 inch for the depth, and I used 2.5 for the width. And I'll mark my nipple to nipple line, and every of my measurements is starting from my zip allowance line. Then after doing that, I'll connect a straight line to connect all these darts, and you find the midpoint of your armhole. My own is 4 inches. My shoulder to chest line is 8, the midpoint is 4, and I'll extend it by extra 1 so that when I'm joining the two pieces together, none of them will be shorter than the other. Then I will take normal darts. You can see I'm connecting my normal half inch darts to the half length. If you are a tailor, of course you should know how to use this normal darts, just normal darts at the back. Then after marking my normal darts, I'll take my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll take my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for darts, and I'll mark. Then at the full length, I'll divide my hip by 4. That is 42 divided by 4, 10.5. And I'll go ahead and connect from my hip, for my half length to the hip line, the full length is 26 at the back and 27 at the front. So after taking out 1 inch from the side that of the front, two of them will be 26, 26 at the side. Now I have labeled my center back and my side back, and I also came up by 2 inches at the full length to curve it at the side so that it will have a fine curve at the side. So right now I will cut out this back piece. After cutting out the back piece, I'll start transferring all this cotton to my fabric, to my main fabric. After cutting on my main fabric, I'll cut on my lining.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the
Now I am using this Ankara fabric for this top. Okay, now I'll place my center front first of all. Now remember that our center front has an asymmetric neckline and it has a center slit from the full length. After placing my paper on it, I'll go ahead and cut out what I have there, and on each side of the paper you'll be adding 4 inches extension so that it will give you that flare effect. So at the full length of this paper, I added 4 inches and I connected it to the half length. If you add 4 inches at the full length, you will connect it to the half length. So I added 4 inches at the full length and I connected it to the half length. Then at the full length, I'll also add half an inch allowance. You can see that I added extra half an inch allowance, and I'll add half an inch allowance around the side of my dart for joining it with the side piece. You know, you join your center and your side together. So all the pieces of this bustier that I cut out, we have extra 4 inches extension on all the sides. So this one is the center front, and if I open it up, you can see what I have. Now I'll go ahead and mark my straight line at the middle. You know, you will mark out the length of the slit, and that slit should stop at your half length. The slit will stop at the half length. Okay, I'm done marking my slit and I'm cutting the slit out. It is just like 1 inch open at the full length, and I am done with the slits. Now for the neckline, the slanted area will be on the left hand side. So at the left hand side, I will come down by 6 inches and mark a straight line to the 6 inches. Then from there I will connect to the other side of the neckline. Now I am done doing that, and I'll go ahead and cut out my neckline. The next thing that we are going to do right now is to cut the remaining pieces, and on each piece I'll be adding 4 inches. This is the side front, and I will add 4 inches on both sides. So you can see how I place it. You can see my side that I'll add 4 inches on this side, 4 inches on the other side, and I will connect all of them to the half length line. Then from that half length line, I will add my half-inch seam allowance, but on the side I will add 1 inch seam allowance on the side. The side should have an extra allowance. On the full length, half inch. So you can see what I'm doing on each of these pieces, the paper that I cut out. I will add 4 inches at the full length and half inch around the dart line. Then on the side, this is the side piece, I'll add just 1 inch for the seam allowance. You can add 1.5 or 2 inches on the side, on the side seam, but at the around the dart line, half inch should be the highest allowance you add around there. Okay, so this is what I'll repeat on all other pieces.
city streets, we began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild.
I am done cutting all our pieces. What I'm going to do is to cut out our sleeve length. So on our sleeve length, I'll make it 28 inches because it's a puffy sleeve, a long puffy sleeve. So I'll make it 28 inches. After adding my elastic and dragging it up, everything will balance. But for now, the full length will be 28 inches. I have marked my armhole curve and I connected it. It has an A-line shape. I'll go ahead and cut my sleeve out. So at the full length, I'll add an elastic to hold it down at the full length. Now, after doing that, I'll cut the lining for all the pieces except the sleeve. Every other piece will have a lining, and the lining will have the same shape with what you have on your fabric.
Never sleep, never stop. As we shout from the top, we're gonna be. We're gonna be. Two hearts running wild. The best we ever had, and we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top.
After cutting the lining, I'll cut out my pad, and my pad will stop at the underbust. So this pad or wadding depends on you. Depends on the type of wadding you want to use. If you don't want to use wadding, you can just leave your dart like that and add interface to all your pieces. But for this one, I'll notch my underbust and I'll go ahead and cut out my wadding. After cutting my wadding, we'll go back to our skirts.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts.
Now back to our skirt. This is the band that I have. I'll go ahead and gather my nets on this particular band. Remember when I cut out this band, I'll fold this band into two this way. You can see the way I folded it, and I'll go ahead and gather my nets. Just gather your nets as close as you want. It depends on how full your net is, on how many yards you are using. Go ahead and gather it, just normal gathers. Then after gathering this, we will add our doll face later. Okay, so right now I'll go ahead and gather. The gather is too long. I don't want to use a running stitch to gather it. I'll go to my sewing machine and I'll gather it manually. After gathering it to the band, after sewing it to the band, we use our doll face to turn it. Now I am done gathering and you can see what I have. This is my gathers and the skirt is really looking nice. After running these gathers, you will turn it over. If I turn the band over, you will see the rough seam on the other side. So that rough seam is where I will sew this doll face on. I'll get my doll face, I'll turn it this way. You can see the rough seam. I'll get my doll face, I will stitch it on top of that seam. So the band will be in between the net and the doll face. I will sew it on top of this seam. I will gather it on top of that seam and turn it over. So if I turn it over, you will not see where I gathered those nets from. I hope you understand what I mean by that. Now after gathering it that way, I'll also close my sides. Back to the top. Sorry, we are sewing it this way. I'm trying to keep it interesting. Now I will add all my pad pieces. I am done adding the pad pieces. I use iron to hold them down. Now after holding them down with my iron, I'll start I'll start sewing all of them. Sorry, I'll start joining all the pieces, the side pieces to the center piece. You can see what I have there. This is an illustration, but if you're making this for yourself, you should add interface to everything. Add interface to everything. It is important. Then these ones are the back pieces. I'll go ahead and join all the pieces of the back, and I'll also join the lining the same way. The same way I joined the main fabric is the same way I will join the lining. And remember the zipper allowance area. The zipper allowance will be open. Now these are the lining pieces. You can see the center piece. I will mark the back side so that I will not make any mistake. Mark the back so that you will not make any mistake. Remember that I'll use 1/2 inch to join all the pieces. This is the back lining pieces. I will also use 1/2 inch to join all the pieces together, except the zipper allowance area. The zipper allowance will be free. Back to our skirt. Our skirt is set. The next thing that I will do is just to fold it into two, and I will close where my zipper will stop at. So I'll just come down by like 6 inches, and I'll close that area. Our zipper will continue from there. Now our skirt is ready, and the only thing remaining right now are the top pieces. Okay, I'm done joining all my top pieces, and this is my skirt. I will add my zipper, and that's all. These are my top pieces. I'll go ahead and trim the armhole. I love having excess at my armhole instead of having less. Okay, now after doing this, I will use it to turn the ankara. After turning the ankara of the top of the front, I'll also turn the back pieces. This is the lining piece, this is the main fabric. I'll also trim the armhole.
Running wild, never sleep, never stop.
Now after trimming the armhole, I will use my lining to turn my neckline. I'll turn my slits. I'll turn the full length of this top. Okay, now we are done with that. This is the back piece. I will also trim the lining and then use the lining to turn all the back pieces together. I'm trying to reduce the duration of this tutorial. I don't want it to be too long. Now turn the neckline, turn the zipper allowance, turn the side pieces, and turn the full length. Also repeat the same thing on the other piece. Turn the side seam, turn the full length, turn the armhole. Sorry, don't turn the armhole, turn the side seam, turn the zipper allowance, the neckline, and the full length. These ones are the back pieces. Okay, now after turning all of them, I'll go ahead and iron. Ironing is really important. After ironing all of them, you will start shaping. Now this is our sleeve, and I'll go ahead and insert elastic at the full length of the sleeve. This tutorial is really long. Now this is the front piece. I will use the lining to turn the neckline. I actually made a mistake while turning the neckline. I'll adjust it and turn the neckline. Now we are done turning all of them with their lining respectively. I'll mark out my zipper allowance and close my zipper allowance first of all before closing the front and the back. You can see that our 6 pieces shape is coming out already. Our slit is well turned. I'll place the front and the back together and then take my body measurements. I'll also join my shoulder. Now I am done joining all that. I'll retrim my armhole. It is important so that it fits very well around your armhole. After retrimming your armhole, you add your sleeve, and our 6 pieces top is set. You can see how fine and the flare it has at the full length. I really love it. Now this is our sleeve. I am done adding my elastic to it. I'll go ahead and fix my sleeve. I will also fix my zipper, and our top is set. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you have any question or suggestion, do well to drop a comment in the comment section. See you all in my next video. Bye.